Hey guys, today I'm going to show you my tips for writing video scripts. Over the past 20 years of my career, I've probably written literally like 5,000 scripts, so I'm pretty practiced at it. So today I'm going to show you how to take a script from first draft to final result. This might be a script that you kind of pecked out on your own, sort of free form, just getting started. It could be something a client provided to you, or it could be a script that you had generated on ChatGPT or Google Bard. I'm going to show you how to take that like very rough draft and make it a very polished script. Now, if you're writing scripts for clients, you might be interested in my newest course, Agency Kickstart. Agency Kickstart is everything I wish I had known when I first started my business, Plum Productions, almost 15 years ago. I can't believe it. I go over so many things with you need to know to either launch a new video production agency or to grow your existing business, like what to spend money on, what not to spend money on, how to grow your team, how to get and retain clients, and even what should and shouldn't be in your contracts. But you don't just get big sister advice from me, you get a whole packet of accompanying documents like sample proposals and contracts, and even worksheets to help you envision your business and grow it over time. If this sounds like something you might need to either start or grow your video production agency, check out Agency Kickstart at JennJager.com. I will link to it down below. All right, let's get back to these script writing tips. Before you even start writing a script, you need to be able to answer the following questions. You got to know, what is the purpose of this script? What's the most important information in the script? What are the length constraints of the script? What visuals will I have to support this script? And what action should the viewer take after watching this video? Now, I have a real life script we're going to be working on together. This script is for a local municipality that's having a challenge getting residents to separate their yard waste from their bulk trash, and it's costing the city a lot of money. So they want to send out this video to inform residents about how to properly separate their piles. Now, I've changed the names here to protect the innocent, but you and I are going to look at the script together, and you're going to follow along and see if you agree with the changes that I make to this script. Okay, let's get into it. Now, the person who wrote this works in communications, and they're actually a really good writer, but writing for video is a totally different ball game. You have to think about what you're going to see for every word that you write, and you have to think about how long this script can be. So we're going to address all of those issues. At first glance, I can tell that this script looks really long for 90 seconds, which typically is 175 words. I will put on the screen right now some guidelines about word count and video length. You can bookmark this and keep it handy for future reference. The second thing I notice about the script is that some of the verbiage is very formal. I think we could make it more conversational. And lastly, I think it could use some rearranging as well. Let's get to work. So let's first address the length of this script. The first thing I'm going to do is head on up to the Tools menu here in Microsoft Word, and I'm going to select word count. And I'm going to see how many words this script is in its current state, and it is a whopping 618 words. Remember, I said for a 90-second script, it should be about 175 words, so we have a lot of work to do. So let's take a look at this script and see where we can start cutting. The first thing I notice is this first line. All of this information can be added on screen in text, so we don't need our talent to say it. So I'm just going to delete this entire line. Again, this phrase here isn't important. I'm going to delete it. I also feel like I'm seeing a lot of repetition here. The phrase light vegetation appears often in a very small part of the script. So what I'm going to do is combine these two sentences so we can eliminate some words there as well. Again, I keep seeing the same phrase here, 3 cubic yards, 3 cubic yards. Let's see if we can combine these two sentences together too. Again, here is a phrase that I don't think we need. You may wonder. Let's just start it at what? There's two sentences here that I think could easily be combined into one. This line here seems redundant. The most important thing that the community can do to help facilitate pickup is to separate piles. Piles cannot commingle. I don't think you need piles cannot commingle. You already said you need to separate them. And this here's why line, I like it because it's conversational, but we really just don't have time for it in this script. This whole section here just feels unnecessary. It really gets granular about what happens to trash after it gets picked up. I don't think residents really need to know all of that information. Let's just eliminate that whole section. And here in this last paragraph, they actually have the on-camera talent reciting the phone number and email address for residents to contact if they have more questions. All of this can be placed on screen. The talent does not need to say it out loud. We can eliminate a lot of length here at the end of the script. The other thing to remember is that when you have someone recite a phone number, each of those numbers counts as a word. So this script is actually longer than we thought it was at the beginning. I almost never have someone say a phone number unless we really have time for it. So I'm going to tighten this up as well. All right, we just finished our very cursory first pass on things that were really glaring to me that we could tighten up. Let's check that word count. We've eliminated about 100 words. Obviously, we have a lot more work to go, but I do want to move on to the next step now, which is to make this whole script overall more conversational. I think that might help us tighten it up a little bit. You should be reading your scripts out loud to yourself as you write them. And as a general rule, if the script doesn't sound like something you would say to a friend or even a coworker, it needs to be reworked. Let's start at the top. Again, I think we can eliminate this part where he introduces himself. So instead of a portion of, what if we just said some of, right? Instead of receives, let's say gets. I think this could be eliminated. Please note that. Instead of are permitted to, let's just say can. This whole section, I think, can be totally reworked. Instead of exceeds, let's change this to more than. This line here, once a homeowner has contacted the city to approve the disposal cost, I think what we can do is just say once a homeowner has agreed to, because the tag is obviously going to tell you what the next steps are to contact the city. This line here, in order to, let's just make it to provide. With regards, come on, let's just say about. This line here, a cost that would certainly be minimized. Let's just say we could save money. Let's check our word count again. I know we didn't do enough, but I think we made some progress. All right, 466, we still have a ways to go, but let's move on to the next step in our process. I think at this point, I'd like to rearrange the script a little bit because there's some really important information that's at the bottom of the script that really belongs at the top. Particularly that the city spent over $100,000 more than necessary as a result of mixed piles. So I'm gonna move that information to the top. I just think that that's a super important piece of information that would grab my attention right away if I were watching this video. Now that we've got this line going, I don't think we need this next line. I'm just going to eliminate it altogether. And again, as we talked about money up here, I don't think we need this line. I think we can get rid of this, did you know that? And I actually think we could take this sentence and tighten it up more. If you hire a landscaper, obviously a landscaper is hired, so you don't need to say that. So if a landscaper trims your trees, they are required to remove the debris. And then from your property is assumed. So I'm going to tighten that up as well. Right here, the 3 cubic yard size. What if we just said 3 cubic yards? How about this line here? Any pile more than 3 cubic yards will be photographed and tagged with information on the disposal cost. Does it matter that it'll be photographed? Let's just say it'll be tagged. Here we already said disposal cost. What if we changed this disposal cost to fee? This line, I think, is unnecessary. We've already explained at the beginning that the citizens have to do their part to reduce the expenses that the city has to pay. So I'm just going to delete it. I think we can eliminate this line, and I think we can eliminate this line. We've already said that it's up to the community to help. And these two sections, I think, could be brought up to the top because it clarifies why the city was charged so much last year. So I'm going to cut this and paste it to the top. And I think at the end, we can add a little bit of a reminder and a call to action for what we want the residents to do. We already said it at the beginning. Let's reiterate it at the end. All right, now let's check that word count again. 365. We're still over, but this is what separates the amateurs from the pros. I'm going to go through the script again and think about what can I add in on-screen text to the finished video as opposed to having it said out loud. This is really going to help us tighten this guy up. This whole section with these facts and figures, I think that this could be on screen. So I'm going to reword this paragraph and put in some notes in this Word document about what text should appear on screen for each of these lines. So anything that's kind of a list, like what constitutes light vegetation, I think can be put on screen, as well as the comparison between 3 cubic yards being about the size of a refrigerator. All right, we still have about 100 words to eliminate. This is the point in the process where you just need to be ruthless. So here I'm adding even more content to on-screen text and taking it out of the verbal script. Now, this last pass where I'm just ruthlessly eliminating parts of this script can be hard for newer writers because they get really attached to their words. But if you just keep in mind that the less granular information you keep in your script, the easier it will be for your viewers to retain the information you're trying to deliver. It'll make it easier for you to just let go of these words. We got it to 190 words. I'm really comfortable with that length. We also got it to be way more conversational, and we brought that really critical attention-grabbing information right to the top. I feel like we hit all of the items on our checklist with this script. It's clear what the purpose of it is. We included the most important information. We've fallen within our length constraints. We have ideas about what we're going to show, and we know what we want our viewers to do next. So I definitely think we're hitting all the points with this script. I'm really curious to hear if it helped you to see my entire thought process while going through this script. Do you want to see more videos where I share with you my process when I'm producing projects? Let me know down in the comments, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And I picked out some other videos I know you're going to love. I'll see you again.